Good evening, I'm Patricia Vallone with a CTV News update. Prince George's police are investigating a homicide. It happened at 12 noon in the 4900 block of Indian Head Highway. Investigators say an adult male was found stabbed to death in the parking lot of a strip mall. Now, detectives are working to identify a suspect and motive. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Solvers at numbers 1-866-411-TIPS. Well, there is a major development tonight regarding a possible sale of the Washington Commanders. Embroiled owner Dan Snyder and his wife Tanya have hired Bank of America Securities to, quote, consider potential transactions, which can mean many things. A team spokesperson says they are exploring all options. Snyder has been under increasing pressure to offload the team in recent weeks as he and the team's office have been under investigation by the NFL and Congress for alleged sexual harassment and a hostile work environment. CTV asked fans to weigh in.
His leadership is not where it should be as far as being on level with the rest of the owners. And, you do what he did or allegedly did, then, yeah, you should be made to give up. Ordinary citizens would be in jail. Because you got money shouldn't change that.
From the beginning, man, making picks, I think you got to leave your picks and everything to the general managers that you had, that's professionals in it. And I think he's been playing it like it's a game of, baseball cards, football cards, man. He's picking players that's over the hill and not worthy of the position. So I think it's just time for a new change, a new name, a new change in leadership.
And the Commanders are worth an estimated $5.6 billion. That's 7 times more than Snyder paid for the team in 1999. Meantime, there's another development regarding the team. According to the Washington Post, local police have made an arrest in this summer's shooting of player Brian Robinson. The rookie player, now recovered, was shot during an attempted robbery on H Street in Northeast back in August. The Prince George's County School Board chair, who is currently in a fight to keep her seat, has allegedly had her legal fees paid by the school district. This, according to MyFox DC. The school district has reportedly paid more than $32,000 for Dr. Juanita Miller's legal fees. The report also indicates that the payments were authorized by the board, but that's in dispute. Miller is currently in a fight with the Maryland State Board of Education to retain her seat. A hearing for her case is set on November 28th. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 701 new cases. The county's positivity rate has risen to 9.27%. 11 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours. 431 are hospitalized. That's 7 fewer than yesterday. The Maryland Health Department has launched what it's calling a Fluster campaign. The campaign urges you to roll up your sleeves and get a flu shot. And while you're at it, officials say you should also get a COVID bivalent booster vaccine. Officials say it's safe to get both shots.
Have you gotten your Fluster yet? Let me explain. You need to get your flu shot, and you also need to get a COVID booster. Good news. It's safe and convenient to get your flu shot and booster at the same time. 2 shots, 1 visit. This time of the year, it's especially important to get both. So get your Fluster. It's a very good idea and a really fun word.
And the health department says hospitalizations for flu and respiratory illnesses are increasing faster than usual this year. You're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. We'll be back in just a moment.
This year, celebrate Vote Early Day.
And make your voice heard.
Each year, the amount of people voting early grows.
And this fall, over 220 million Americans can vote early.
In person.
By dropping off their ballot.
Or mailing it in. With so many options, you can vote when it's convenient for you.
Election Day is the last day to cast your ballot.
So the question isn't why vote early.
It's why wait. Join the celebration and find out how you can vote early at voteearlyday.org.
Welcome back. Investigators have concluded that Tuesday's fire in Coral Hills was accidental. The fire broke out just after 10 o'clock yesterday morning in the 4200 block of Vine Street. 3 adults and 3 children were displaced. Investigators say the blaze appears to have started on the 2nd floor. There were no injuries. Damage is estimated to be about $60,000. Well, for nearly 40 years, Jeffrey Winningham has traveled across Mexico to document an annual ceremony known as Dia de los Muertos. That's both beautiful and solemn. In his new book, A Trail of Marvels, a memoir of Mexico and Days of the Dead, he fills it with hundreds of photos he's taken over the last 4 decades. Winningham contrasts the 2-day celebrations, which vary by region, while he chronicles his personal discovery about life.
It's the time when the souls of those who have died are given divine permission to return to their family for one day of the year. What I've come to understand in my way is that the Day of the Dead should properly be called the Day of the Living or the Day of Life, because in welcoming the spirits of those that have died, you become acutely aware of your own mortality, of the fact that you will die, and that you better get on with enjoying your life.
And Dia de los Muertos is celebrated every November 1st through the 2nd. While it follows Halloween, Day of the Dead has nothing to do with the American holiday of trick-or-treat. If you would like more information about the author's book or Mexico's most important holiday, you can log on to jeffwinningham.com. Still to come here on CTV News Sports with Laurencia Moten. Stay with us.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you.
Well, some bad news for our local high school soccer team. Laurencia Moten has the details tonight in sports. Welcome.
That's right, Patty. Now, the Northwestern High School boys soccer team has been disqualified from competing in this year's state playoffs after the team used an ineligible player during the season. The rules are if a student's GPA falls under 2.0 while they participate in a sport, the student is no longer eligible to participate. This picture was posted to the team's Instagram page with the caption stating, "It was fun while it lasted." Now, the University of Maryland football team is coming out of their bye week with a battle against a top opponent. The Terps team currently has a record of 6-2, putting them in 5th place in the Big Ten Conference rankings. But this weekend, they travel to Wisconsin to play the Badgers. Now, although this team currently has a record of 2-3, their most recent coaching change has things looking up for the team.
Wisconsin, our opponent this week, has been playing really good football here the last few weeks. Since Coach Leonard has taken over, there seems to be a energy about it. I know on offense, the scoring has gone up. Obviously, him being a defensive guy has always done a tremendous job calling the defense. They run a scheme that is quite different. It's a pressure package, but it's kind of the safe pressures. We call it simulated pressures, where it looks like a lot of people are coming, and then they do a great job of mixing it up. And so we've got to be really sharp up front with our calls and our quarterback getting everybody on the same page with that.
Jim Leonard is the interim head coach for this team, and since his hiring, their record is 2-1. Now, another coaching change takes place in the NBA. The Brooklyn Nets fired head coach Steve Nash and are planning to hire former Celtics head coach Ime Udoka. Today, a deal is set to take place, and Udoka could be seen on the Nets bench as soon as this weekend. The Maryland Independent School Athletic League Volleyball Championship took place this week at Riverdale Baptist. The Riverdale Baptist Crusaders were last year's champs, but this year, Southern Maryland Christian Academy took home the crown. But despite the fall season ending, this is truly just the beginning for the Crusaders volleyball team.
One thing that we made really kind of prominent this season is taking girls to volleyball games, exposing them to different club programs, having them go to other local games in the area, because sometimes kids will only see kind of what's in their backyard. We've gone to WCAC schools, just making sure that they are able to see a higher level of play than just what they see in their backyard and what they know, because realistically basketball and really soccer for girls are really the things that are promoted in this area. So making sure that they see that, hey, volleyball is an area where you can also play.
And today, Coach Lloyd told me that she's preparing for club season tryouts to ensure that the girls get even more exposure to the sport. And now, Patty, Coach Lloyd's father is an Astound coach. He coached in D.C. and a whole bunch of other programs. So,
all right,
it runs in her blood.
It must. All right, thanks, Laurencia. Well, CTV's Taylor Thomas is in the kitchen tonight with her new segment, What's for Dinner? And take it away, Taylor.
Dinner, our special guest chef today is Brian Smith, that is, from EduCirc. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Well, what's for dinner, Brian?
Well, today we're going to be cooking some shrimp scampi with linguine with a little bit of pepperoncini.
All right, so what do we need to start with?
All right, so the first thing we need to do is go ahead and get our linguine started.
We've got the
we have our water
boiling.
boiling. We're going to go ahead and take a small little grab full of linguine.
Okay.
And put it in here. We have to let that sit for a little bit. And while that's boiling, I'll put a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit in there.
It really makes a difference.
It does. It definitely does. Now this is our sauce. And this is going to be our mainly sauce. Again, we had garlic in here. We also put in our shallots, just basically like small little onions. You know, or you can put regular onions if you like to. Some butter and then some olive oil. So this has to cook and simmer for a little bit just so that we can make our little sauce. This right here is just perfect and just great. So now that this browns in, we got to now put in our shrimp. The main thing to always do that's best with shrimp is, if anything, you always want to douse a whole lot of your shrimp here with pepper, but the main ingredient always when you're cooking with shrimp is salt. Putting that salt brings out the flavor. That's what salt does. It always brings out the flavor. So now we're going to go ahead and just pour all of our shrimp inside, and now we have to simmer it until it browns up. So this is looking pretty good.
Yes,
all this right
look
here,
at that.
Everything is now pretty fast, and this is already perfect. We'll let this sit here just for one hot second. Now for the linguine, we have to take this out and pour some of the water out.
Okay.
This should be just about good. Let's see. This is looking pretty good. We're gonna take a little bit more butter.
Okay.
And then dab this in here. So the linguine cooks in with the butter.
What?
Put a little bit more of olive oil inside so that the linguine tastes perfectly. We douse the lemon all in there. Perfect. A real good lemon, actually. Sometimes I like 2 lemons, so I might as well go ahead and 2 halves of a lemon. What we're gonna do is pour our shrimp first inside the pot. And then make sure the linguine has a little bit of the sauce of the shrimp. And now,
this is incredible.
Now we can pour it onto our plate. We can just grab some.
Look at this.
There, we're gonna grab some of our shrimp here too.
It looks like there's a lot of flavor in it. Let me try this. Oh my goodness.
That's good, isn't it?
It's really light.
It's very light and it has a lot of flavor in it.
Wow. Yes.
Definitely.
That was absolutely delicious.
Shrimp scampi.
Shrimp scampi.
That's right, with linguine. Yep.
With linguine. All right, so if you want to get more information about EduCirc, you can go to educirc.org. And of course, you can go to all of our social media outlets and you can see this and the recipe on our YouTube page. Until next week, healthy eating.
And that wraps up our CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Vallone for Laurencia Moten. For both of us. Have a great night.